Welcome back into the GSMC Sports Podcast, as we're now going to be diving into the overall preview of the upcoming 2024-25 season for the New York Jets. Now, obviously, the number one question with the Jets, we just talked about it some, is what can we expect from Aaron Rodgers at this point? The soon-to-be Hall of Famer has already put together, a first ballot career, and I think at this point, anything that happens here with the Jets, I don't feel like it hurts his legacy. He established what he did when he was in Green Bay. He tried to go a little bit of the Tom Brady route, obviously, and go to this other team. And sure, it does very much enhance your legacy if you are able to win a Super Bowl with that second team. But I don't think it's something that is necessary for Rodgers' career. Now, again, it definitely puts him in a lot higher conversations in terms of the best quarterbacks in NFL history if you were able to get a second one, but that's not what I'm expecting from him at this point. And even if the Jets were to win this year, like we just talked about in the previous segment, I feel like it would be a little bit more so leaning on a very good defense and having Aaron Rodgers just be more of a game manager than anything at this point. And you look at the offensive numbers for the Jets last season, it was abysmal overall. The quarterback play, we already talked about it. Zach Wilson, of course, but then you throw in the other list of names that, got some playing time for them as well. It was a disaster. 31st in total offense, 30th in passing, 22nd in rush, 29th in scoring, 32nd in red zone, and 32nd in third down. So it was a very rough season for the Jets offense, obviously, but you keep in mind they were able to win 7 games. And how were they able to do so? Well, for one, having a breakout star in Breece Hall, who had a very good rookie campaign as well, but tearing his ACL late in the season, expectations were really low for his availability coming into this year. And he showed that, maybe we don't have to worry about, I think, first off, it shows his own determination and everything, but he might even also be an example of why ACLs being this career-ending injury for running backs may be a thing of the past, and it helps past, I should say. And it does help that Breece Hall is as young as he is, but he was able to return, and he was really impactful from the start for them. ESPN, they put out these polls of the top 10 players at X position, and they come up with the list based off of the results of NFL coaches, executives, and scouts, and Breece Hall was ranked as number 2, which was definitely a surprise to me. I can't say I wholeheartedly agree with it, but at the same time, I can definitely understand the case. And considering the level of production he was able to have last year with no quarterback, no real passing offense or passing threat, and a pretty bad offensive line, is very impressive. And speaking about that offensive line, you look at some of the key additions for them this offseason. For our visual viewers here, Mike Williams is definitely a nice pickup for them after Williams was bought out from the Chargers. He signed with the Jets on a new deal, and that's definitely a nice addition because outside of Garrett Wilson, there weren't any other receiver options. But the biggest thing is the offensive line. We'll see how it plays out for them. It's definitely no guarantee that it's a success, but they threw some money at some big-time names. Tyron Smith probably being the most household name there was in terms of offensive linemen in the open market. Long-time Dallas Cowboy. At this point, injuries have been what's dominated his career the past handful of seasons, which, he's not going to be a long-term option for them. I believe he's something like 40, 41 years old at this point as well. So I'm not saying that this is a transformative move, but it is at least, going and taking a swing at a key offensive lineman at a key position. But even beyond that as well, I really believe in Olu Fashanu, the offensive tackle prospect out of Penn State that the Jets took in the first round. Fashanu honestly fell. I feel like it seemed like he was going to be closer to top 5 for a lot of the year, but ultimately he falls all the way down here to the Jets, where I think they took him 12th overall or something along those lines. But that's a nice pickup. They go out and get 2 of the starting linemen for the Baltimore Ravens last season in John Simpson and Morgan Moses. So I like that they tried to address the issues. The offensive line, especially within Aaron Rodgers, that is coming off of a torn Achilles injury, is something where you have to address the needs, and we'll see how it all pans out. They have some other names on that offensive line as well, but I do think that they did improve over the offseason. Now, when you look at the defense, that is the reason to have optimism about this team, because in 2023 and really going back to 2022, like I mentioned, 7 and 8 wins for the horrific quarterback play that they got is a testament to how their defense has performed. Now, we have some of the numbers up on screen here. Pass defense is kind of no surprise that they are sitting there with the second ranked as the second defense in the NFL from 2023 in the pass game, considering the fact that they have Sauce Gardner, who just came off of a very strong second season. DJ Reed, another nice young corner option. Michael Carter has developed into a nice nickel cornerback for them. So they have plenty of names there in the secondary to be effective there. I was a little bit surprised to see how bad they were in rush defense, considering that there are some notable names there as well. And I've heard people say that the Jets defense is overrated before. I still buy it, but maybe this is sort of where you could make that argument, is the fact that they weren't good against the run last season, and that's with Quincy Williams becoming an all-pro first-team linebacker. C.J. Mosley, the veteran as well, still just a couple of years removed from an all-pro selection, but still a very good version of himself. Quinnen Williams on the defensive line. I'm a fan of Jermaine Johnson as well, former Last Chance U product for those who know. Watch that show, but that's where you look at the defense succeeding as much as they have, and that's why I have a little bit of a hard time with the conversation about Robert Saleh, because he came from a defensive background. He was with the 49ers. He was very successful as their defensive coordinator, but he came to New York, and the defense has been tremendous up to this point since he got there. But the offense has been such a disaster, and some of that is out of his hands. But there's also the athletic story that came out following this season, highlighting a lot of the issues that are going on behind the scenes in terms of the power structure of the Jets and kind of what's going on with Saleh and his coaching staff. It seems like a messy situation that Saleh might be on the hottest seat out of any coach in the NFL this upcoming season, which might be a little bit unfair with him, but at the same time, it hasn't been squeaky clean up to this point. I think that you could make the argument that Saleh has probably overachieved to some degree, considering how bad the offense is, and it's technically not. Obviously, he's the head coach. He has a hand in everything, but offense isn't his specialty. So that's, again, I just feel like a little bit out of his hands. But that being said, I can't say I have the most confidence in him in the world. And when you look ahead at their upcoming season, there are a number of games that I kind of feel like are a toss-up, in large part because I don't know if I can take Saleh over some of these other coaches. So looking ahead to them, week 1 I believe they're playing on Monday Night Football to begin the season, which, if so, is pretty cruel by the NFL to have Aaron Rodgers try and step back out on the field under those types of circumstances as well. But definitely fact check me on that if I'm wrong about him playing on Sunday night. But, outside of that game, I think they have a very nice schedule to ease their way into the season with against the Titans, the Patriots, the Broncos. They have a game in London against the Vikings. Maybe we'll see J.J. McCarthy making his first starts by then. Maybe it'll still be Sam Darnold, but a lot of winnable games up front. But really, after that, I think it's a lot of toss-ups and not a ton of games where I'm seeing as the clear-cut wins. I feel pretty good about their chances against the Seahawks at home in Week 13, but I don't see any cupcake games on their schedule, really. The Patriots, I would probably give them... I mean, I picked them to win that game as well. Maybe you argue that one as well as being a very easy challenge for them, or not much of a challenge at all. But you look at Week 7 on the road against Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. I'm kind of tempted to go with the home field advantage and Mike Tomlin over Saleh in that one. You have another good head coach in DeMeco Ryans and a very talented Houston Texans team in Week 9. And then, even some of those other games, I probably believe a little bit too much into the head coaching of Zach Gannon for the Cardinals and Shane Steichen of the Colts. But who knows? Two teams that I do genuinely think can be a little bit of surprises this year. But all of that to be said, I really don't feel good about my overall prediction here. But I ran through it a couple times, and I think that I have to go with 8-9, which I understand this is probably going to be one of my predictions with the season previews that are going to set me up with the highest chance for me to look stupid. But, I was trying to talk myself into extra wins, and I could absolutely see them winning 10 or 11 games. But that being said, and the biggest reason why I'm so unconfident in this pick is the fact that they won 8 games last year, 7 games the year before, something like that, and now they're going to have an actual quarterback. But I don't know. This is just gonna it's my opinion here. I understand that it's probably not going to be a popular one, but this is where I kept coming to. So if you are a Jets believer for this upcoming season, definitely let me know in the comments section why you think I am off base on this one. But that is the last of the AFC East. So just to sort of lay it out big picture here, I have the Bills winning the division at 11-6, the Dolphins in second at 10-7, the Jets at third at 8-9, and the Patriots at fourth at 5-12. So let me know whether or not you think I got the Jets right or this division as a whole. But we are going to be sort of circling back around to that idea of who are the top 10 quarterbacks in the league for next year. Aaron Rodgers included on that list for ESPN when they just put out their list the other day. I'm going to be giving my list of the top 10 quarterbacks for 2024, but before I do that, we're going to have to take a quick break here, and I will get to that on the other side. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.